Hello and welcome to the third event of the HERd SHEries with our second of three scratch races, this time with a lap of a Richmond Rollercoaster. We will see our ladies take on 23rd Street Reverse, Libby Hill Reverse and the East Main Street Drag before a lap of the Fan Flats Reverse. The race is 17.1 kilometres in length and we have technical difficulties already. We are lacking Craig Martin. So it's 10:02 here. It's 5:02 in Craigland in Canada. We think he's probably slept in. So as a fairly quick turnaround, we're going to be following the bees on the video side of the stream, but we've also got Ben and Nate here with me to talk us through the rest of the action. Ben, I believe that the D's are set off already, as have the C's.
They have, yes. So they've hit the first of the climbs, and they are in a nice long line. It's a tough bit of climbing, this one. It feels like it goes on forever. So I've got Margaret Brown on my screen. She's doing really well so far. She's pushing in nice and hard into the climb, and we'll see how she goes.
Nate, who are you watching at the moment?
I'm in the pen right now. There's no C's that I can see that are heard. So I'm just watching the start of the B race.
Yep.
So it looks like we got.
Go on, sorry.
So we got Christina and Marjorie.
Yeah, and Lorraine Inks in there as well. So we've got three HERd riders in here. Ben, I thought Christina had upgraded to A.
No, so she's got very, very, very close to women's A, and she's started asking around for advice on how she can get there. So I think it might be fireworks today. So she's a very, very strong, very tiny human, which is always great fun to ride with, because the moment it goes above 2%, she's gone. So great fun.
I think this race could get split up fairly early on because we go practically straight into the free climbs. It is a small group. There's only 7 riders in today. Marilyn appears to be the only one who has realised that she can super tuck down this hill, currently going at 65 kph, and it's flattening out again. And we will.
You'll probably find that a lot of women don't know the super tuck because they're so light. Typically, they find it hard, similar to our good friend Steve, to actually get into the super tuck and actually stay there. So that's probably something that they're just not used to.
May well be. We are just starting the incline before the 23rd Street reverse climb, which I think is just after we turn right. I have to be perfectly honest, this is a course I've only done sort of once or twice before, so I'm not overly familiar with it, Ben. But I think once we take the right hand
All right,
turn...
mate, got you covered. So yes, go down the hill, go left out of the pens, down, then you turn right, and you descend all the way down. The KOM starts just before you turn left, and the climbing starts just after you turn right. You go all the way up, you turn right again, and then you hit the KOM banner. Then you go over you descend down the backside of it, 2 quick left-hand turns, and you're onto the reverse Libby Hill. So, and that's where I think I've just seen you come through.
Yeah, we've got a rider 10 seconds off the front who's been holding 7.5, 8 watts a kilo for the last 30 seconds or so. May not be entirely legitimate, but we'll certainly find out to see what Zwift Power says at the end. Currently in the 9s, so maybe could be a very good concerted attack. Pace back down to the 3s. But Marilyn is currently sat in fifth wheel. Lorraine is currently in second place. And Christina's a second back as well. So they are just coming over the top of the first climb with a little bit more ramp. What's going on in the C's and D's, guys?
So the C's have just come absolutely flying past the D long line. And the D's all hit the really steep bit of reverse Libby Hill and a big WTF moment from most of the ladies. But they're all over it now and heading up towards the banner. So that's one of the things about reverse Libby is there's basically one bit which is just absolutely horrible. I think it's about 15% just after the right-hand turn. So if you tack into that, you can actually do a really, really quick time.
And the B's will very short. They're just hitting the ramp now. 10% gradient. Mariline's just surged to the front here, and she's got Lorraine with her as well, who's pushing on really, really hard. Gradient 19-20%. Mariline's putting in a sprint as well. Probably the best way to get up this hill. And she is opening up a little gap. We've got that rider I mentioned who's 30 seconds off front, so we're not going to see her again, and probably won't see her in the results either. But Marilyn is currently in second. She's pulled out a 2-second gap on the rest of the field. As Ben mentioned, it's a fairly short hill, and we are pretty much on the flat now.
Yeah, at worst, this is a 3-minute hill for the Ds, and more likely somewhere in the low 2s to low 1 minute, 1 minute plus hill for every other cat. It really is this whole course really is a 1 to 3 minute power test, and it's absolutely incredible for racing. I love it.
Yeah, I think perhaps the only exception to that is probably the uncategorised climb we have, East Main Street, which is more of a sort of 5% drag.
Yeah, it's a long drag, and it's one of those climbs that's essentially you do what you need to. To stay in that front group, you just do what you need to do. Everything else is literally a how strong are you test. It's play your cards, bluff hard, and go for it, really.
Yeah, so there's probably a couple different ways of attacking this course. It might be that you want to just try and stay with the group on East Main Street, then you've got a lap of fan flats reverse, and then trust your sprint to win the race, or go absolutely crazy on one of the hills, which these ladies haven't done so far. So we've had the 2 climbs now, and they look to all be together. So we've just got the East Main Street climb up towards the flat section of the course. So it could well be that these guys all stick together to the end, and then we'll see a sprint finish. But will we see Marilyn kick early again? That's the question.
Well, it's a very, very long straight to finish. So if you kick early, you've got to want to hope that you're very, very strong, because one of the catches with this course is the sprint banner, the shortest sprint in the world, Broad Street Sprint, actually displays on the map as the finish line if you're not paying attention. So you can kick way too early and completely kill yourself for the actual finish. So that's a trick for people who aren't paying too much attention.
The finish line is the normal fan flat sprint, isn't it?
I'm fairly certain it's the lap banner, isn't it?
No. You don't actually go through the lap banner on this course. You only, as far as I know, you will only go through the sprint banner, which is where the lap starts. I'm going to double check before I make myself into a complete idiot, though.
That's a really good course, yeah. Good idea. Let's double check that.
It'll probably this is the reverse of fan flats with the little kicker. So this will be it'll be the sprint banner on fan flats for sure. So then they'll be going from the reverse of it.
Yeah, it's fan flats reverse. So they don't.
So they'll be coming. So they'll be coming around that roundabout and then seeing the sprint. So it makes it quite a nice, long, straight, flat sprint. Yeah. Compared to the little kicker if it was the UCI lap.
Yeah, I've just double checked. So it is the sprint banner. As Nate says, just after a roundabout. So that's probably a really good sighter as soon as you come out of a roundabout to put everything down.
There you go.
Just back to the V's, as we expected, all these 6 riders are all together with the lady leading. It's probably about 5 minutes up the road by now. How about the seats? What's going on in the C's? Any action further back the road, guys?
Sorry, I've just been working out what the actual route is. So, because I failed to do my homework because I was enjoying my beers. No, there we go. So the D's are very, very well spread out. We've got a collection of C riders all through it. So Margaret has found a friend and is tucked up nice and approaching the long drag climb. So doing quite nicely in 6th.
This is a funny course really because it's actually a 12-kilometre lead in to the sprint banner that starts the Fan Flats lap. If you have race organisers who set more than one lap, which is what we're doing today, you just do repeats of Fan Flats reverse, but obviously with the long lead in with the 3 hills.
Yes, and so myself, having not done my homework, thinking this was just a reverse UCI, gives out bad information. But this looks like a fantastic course, James.
Yeah, it's definitely something a little bit different with your potential 5-kilometre laps, plural, in the second half of a race. So if for example, you had 5 laps, you would do start off the same way we have today. You've got reverse 23rd, reverse Libby, and then East Main Street, and then you would basically just do 5 laps of Fan Flats. So only one for us today, though, being one of our shorter races. Marilyn,
I can see you setting this as a bullseye course and people hating you for it.
Oh, very much so.
It would be fantastic as a bullseye course because the challenges involved in that. But in saying that, the B's and A's have started heading past us here in the D race as we're heading up the long drag. They just flashed across my screen very, very quickly, pushing some very strong numbers. And Margaret is doing brilliantly. She's pushing low 2s, which is a great effort from Margaret. That's some of the best numbers I've seen from her in a while. She's doing brilliantly.
Marilyn basically just needs to get up this hill in the group, and then I think she's got a fantastic chance for the win because her sprinting power is probably one of the best in this field, but she may struggle a tiny bit on the hill, which is why we're seeing her putting out high 300 watts. So I think Marilyn's tactic today may well just be hang on in there, get up this hill, and then draft and sprint.
For sure. I mean, that's
definitely good tactic. Sorry, Nate, go ahead, mate.
We're on a little bit of the hill. It just kicks that little bit, which again, if you're not paying attention, you can get caught out. It's up to 7% now. I mean, that's the only bad part of this climb is that last little bit is just a little kicker, and if you're not fully focused, it could be an issue, but they seem to be all over together.
Yeah, I think from memory, it flattens out here for a little bit, then you do a right-hand turn, and then it kicks a little bit up to the main straight, but there's a very good chance that I don't know what I'm talking about at all. So in the hope that I may be slightly right.
Why should today be any different, mate?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a very small kick now. It's that was that kind of last kicker there. It's like where it flattened out on the straight and then kicked up. And this is the shortest sprint on Zwift, I believe.
Yes, it's so short that most people forget it's there.
60 metres. It's probably one of those where you actually want to start going probably 5-10 seconds before you even get there. Probably more like 10.
Yeah, because basically as soon as you turn, you've hit it.
Yeah, so again, if you didn't know that the sprint is actually where it is, it's very easy to miss. I remember the last ZRL race series where we actually rode in this direction. I used to, I farmed that sprint quite nicely for a lot of points because most people didn't realize what I was doing. So
yeah, so easy to miss it. But yeah, so we're now on the flat section, of course. We've got a slight rise after we turn left, but it's fairly minor and fairly short. And then we'll have the flat lap. So we have exactly 8 kilometres to go, coming up to 15 minutes through the race. Ben, how's Margaret getting on?
Margaret's cracking on. She's still holding a constant power. She's doing brilliantly up this climb. She's nearly at the top. So she's just going through the hardest bit now, that 7% section that feels like it goes forever. So she's nearly there. Got about another 150 metres to go. How are the C's doing, Nate?
I haven't actually been able to follow them. I mean, I just see that they keep getting passed by this group. I think they're all very, very all over the place. I think there was about 20 of them in the field, but I'm just watching the Bs, but I'm seeing the Cs and Ds just get picked off in small little groups. Looks like the Bs have now been overtaken by Beck, and she's going to be the pace leading for this group all the way on the flat, so the Bs might get a nice little tow.
Yeah, just
but now we have slightly bigger. She's sitting in the pack, which I would if I was joining a larger pack.
Yeah, no, it looks like these guys are all here to stay for the remainder of this race, unless someone decides to try something a little bit different. But it's looking like they're going to stay together.
I think Ness P might be joining this group as well if she jumps on. I mean, that's the thing now that we're on the flats. I mean, the smart thing for some of these C and Ds, if they got dropped, is can they just latch on and just get pulled around on the flats to try and catch up. And I can actually see this. Yep, that's what they're trying to do. So we might slowly see this B group become a bigger pack because it looks like we've just picked up like 3 Cs. So this pack could become a little bit confusing for the Bs of actually who's who. Because now at least we've got an A rider in there, a C rider, and even possibly a D rider.
Yeah, the pack's definitely grown quite a bit in the last few minutes. We are about 6 kilometres from the finish, so still technically in the lead in inverted commas. And so we've got about just over a kilometre until we actually start the official first lap, which comes after about 12 kilometres. So we will take the left-hand turn over a roundabout, and then we'll see the sprint banner, which will start the first lap.
So looking at Zwift Power Live, which is currently working-ish, we have a group of our A rider, a couple of C riders, and the front of Bs. So a group of about 10 ladies, or 8, 9 ladies in the Zwift Power Live in this group at the front that you gentlemen are watching.
How's Margaret doing?
She's doing really, really well. She's just approaching the park before heading up to the roundabouts. A couple of the stronger ladies from I think the B Cat have just pushed past. Both the two the riders are pushing to try to catch those wheels to get a lift up and through the cobbles. But yeah, she's doing really well. She's riding really, really strongly. So doing great effort.
Yeah, this group just seems to have picked up the pace a bit because Marilyn just dipped off the back for a moment before having to sprint to get back on. But we're all back together again, just trying to see if there is anyone who's pushing the pace particularly. Doesn't appear to be, but it looks like it's all coming back together again anyway. So we are now through the sprint banner and we are on to our first official lap, which is I think 5.1 kilometres in length, and is as pan flat or fan flat as you like. So not too long to go. So one lap of the fan flats in reverse and we are done.
It's going to be interesting here. I mean, again, I know Zwift timing is not great at times, but it looks as though this group just could be growing and growing. I mean, again, the C riders in front could be in danger if they don't pick up this group just because how fast it's moving.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Because we're 8 seconds to catch someone, there's another 13 seconds up, but they're all doing mid-twos, whereas this group's cruising along. I mean, 41 kph is 42 is pretty fast on this cobbled section, so I think that's the biggest danger for these C riders that have got a nice lead, that they could just get demolished if they don't pick up this train.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think quite a few of them are going to get overtaken, so it's going to be a case of, do they have anything in the tank just to put out a sort of 5-second effort just to get on this group? And like you say, this group could well expand quite a bit.
There's also an awareness thing. So actually being able to pay attention enough to your companion app or the mini map in the top corner to see a group chasing up and catching up that fast. It's one of my favourite tactics in HERd summer racing, is to actually pick up the group or the category up as it comes through my cat. Because so many people just don't look for it. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I can just see a few more C riders up the road that will be catching fairly shortly.
What was the time gap between C's and B's today?
It's 2 minutes
from the start. So wow, this group is definitely travelling in.
Oh yeah, I mean, like they're averaging about probably as fast as like 41, 42 on the flat. They are seriously shifting.
They're up to 43, 44 on a slight downhill. And again, with that group dynamic, they're just going to absolutely fly past people. I mean, this is actually 47. This is a bad place to be if you're going to get past now, because you're really going to have to kick.
You're going to have to sprint to get onto that. That is being aware that it's coming, see it, crank the power, and then get into the draft. It's going to be tricky if you're not paying attention.
We're passing one rider now, and they have just catched on, so we're growing again by another one. So this pack could get bigger and bigger, although there's a couple stragglers off the back, so I'm not sure if people are getting kicked out with this acceleration and pace as well. I mean, that's the other downside as well, is one little switch off and not kicking or just not getting in the draft, and you could be spat at the back very quickly in this group.
And we've got a couple more sea riders just not that far up the road as well, so they'll probably get caught very quickly as well. And as Nate's mentioned, we could either see the group grow or they might not be able to latch onto the back, but we'll see how that one plays out. We're at 15 kilometres, got 2.1 to go, not too far at all.
Yeah, this is a little trickier bit here. It's just a few little inclines, so I can see a few people already getting kind of split a little bit. And he's just going to do a big effort to get back onto this group. But it looks a good amount of HERd riders now from all the different categories in this group, so
they're going
looking
so
at Zwift
fast.
Power Live, it looks like you've got HERd riders from C through A. It's quite an impressive group.
Going so fast at the moment, the kilometres are just disappearing, just 1.5 to go now.
yeah, and they're going to catch at least one more rider. There's another two that are 9 seconds up the road that might be in danger as well of just getting pipped at the line. And these C's that are in this pack could see a nice little bump.
Yeah, any of the C's that have caught on have got a massive advantage now.
We were down to 7 seconds here. This group is just flying. So there's riders just about to get caught now, and then there's two up ahead that are guaranteed going to get caught because it's now 5 seconds. So, I mean, they thought that wherever they were singing that C pack, they were doing pretty well. All of a sudden, this train's just going to go flying past them.
Yep, 4 second gap now. We've got a kilometre to go.
And according to Zwift Power Live, that's the lead of C, B, and A all in a one bunch. That's impressive. That's going to be a hell of a bunch sprint you guys are going to be treated to.
The tactic for sure is just whoever goes early, just grab onto them because you don't know. You might get a nice little draft for sure.
Yeah, we're just making the last left-hand turn. We will go over roundabout and then we'll see the sprint banner. And these two riders in front are just about to get caught. 1 second gap now. So we've got about 400 metres to go. Just coming up to the roundabout now. Marieline's holding 4.5 watts a kilo. See when the first kick happens. They can see the banner now. No one has gone early. Marieline's going now, 800 watts. And can she get a toe? Marieline looking pretty safe for the what will probably be the B win. Yeah, she's pulled out a massive gap to her riders behind. Brilliant job, Marieline. And that is it. So,
Laurent just crossed in 6, I believe.
Good job. So next week we may or may not have a Craig Martin. We have a single lap of the Tour of Trowit Well in Yorkshire, which is basically the main loop of the Yorkshire UCI route in reverse. So that will have the pot bank wall, which everyone loves. I mean, why wouldn't you love 22% hill? But yeah, so we'll look forward to that. But big thanks to Ben and Nate for joining me this morning, or evening in Ben. Enjoy the beers, Ben, and we will see you both next week.
It's always good, and well done to all the ladies tonight.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, James.